What's up YouTube, Saf here on SuperSaf TV, and welcome to the much awaited and much anticipated SuperSaf style camera comparison between the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus and the iPhone 7 Plus. A lot of you guys have asked for this, probably the most requested video of all time on the channel. Now, in the usual style, we'll be looking at both the front and rear facing cameras and our images as well as video too. Do also look out for the audio icon in the corner of the screen, and that will indicate to you which device the audio is coming from. And I'll be switching between these two to give you guys a better idea of the differences in audio as well. So we're currently in my car, so we've got plenty of light coming in, and we are using the front facing cameras on both devices. Now, the S8 Plus still films in Quad HD compared to Full HD from the front-facing camera of the iPhone 7 Plus. So, although this video is going to be exported out at 1080p, we can crop in and get lots more detail. Now, let's head outside and do some more tests. So now we're outdoors and just going to test out the stabilization from the front-facing camera. So I'm going to take a bit of a walk here and let me know if you guys notice which one is more stable. Let's do a bit of a jog. So now we are testing out the video from the rear-facing cameras. We're filming at 4K on both here. This video is exported out at 1080p, so we can crop in and get more details. Now let's take a bit of a walk and see how both of these do. They're both mounted to the same rig. I've switched over to 1080 now, and just to test out the stabilization, cameras tend to be a bit more stable at 1080. So let's take a bit of a walk and let's speed this up. So we'll do a bit of a jog and we can see which one's more stable. Now we're indoors in room lighting, just testing out the autofocus. Small terminator, big terminator, small terminator, big terminator. That dual pixel autofocus is still super duper fast. It's seamless. You can just go from one to the other. Boom. Same room, same lighting on the iPhone 7 Plus. And yeah, it's okay, but it is struggling a little bit to catch focus. Still can't beat the dual pixel autofocus that we have on the S8 Plus. So that was the video. Now before we move on to images, let's just go over what we're working with. So we've got 8 megapixels on the S8 Plus with an f1.7 aperture for the front facing camera. The iPhone 7 Plus has 7 megapixels with an f2.2 aperture. But it gets quite interesting for the rear facing cameras. The S8 Plus has 12 megapixels and f1.7 aperture with optical image stabilization. The iPhone 7 Plus does have a dual lens setup, both 12 megapixels. There's one primary wide angle camera which has an f1.8 aperture with optical image stabilization. But there's also a secondary camera which is going to give you some zoom, and that's at an f2.8 aperture. So we'll check out both in this video. Now if you want to pick up a skin like I have done here on my S8 Plus for your device, then definitely check out our sponsor for this video, Dbrand. I'll be leaving a link to them in the description below. One more thing to bear in mind is that all images in this video have been taken on auto. I've not tweaked anything, and that's just to keep things as fair as possible. So kicking off with some selfies, here you can see that the S8 Plus is slightly wider. It's also got better dynamic range. If you look at the background, more of those details are maintained on the S8 Plus. And it's also sharper. Going in 100%, it's more obvious here. We can see all the imperfections in my face because we do have a lot more detail here on the S8 Plus. The iPhone isn't doing too bad, but I would definitely give the win here to the S8 Plus. Now, one thing a small number of people tend to complain about is that I wear sunglasses in my selfies, and the iPhone may be struggling to expose it correctly, but take a look at this image. The iPhone 7 Plus still doesn't have as good dynamic range compared to the S8 Plus. Now a low light selfie outdoors, this was me going outside like a creep under street lighting. The S8 Plus is brighter here and does have less noise, but it does seem a little bit soft compared to the iPhone 7 Plus. Using the front facing flash on both, I think I like the iPhone 7 Plus here a little bit better. Once again, the S8 Plus is slightly brighter, but it is quite soft soft beauty mode was switched off, by the way. Now moving on to outdoor images in good light, here you can see both are doing a great job, but if we do go in 100%, the S8 Plus is definitely doing better here. It's maintained much more of those details. The iPhone 7 Plus doesn't seem to have correctly exposed the yellow in this picture, and it is slightly overexposed here. Now another image outdoors of this flower, you can see both have a great shallow depth of field and they're both looking really nice. The S8 Plus is a little bit more punchy in terms of the colors, but I think the colors on the iPhone 7 Plus are a little bit more accurate. Now moving on to an outdoor wide shot, I think both are doing great here. We've got good dynamic range, cloud details have been maintained, and we still have the details in the foreground. Now, this is a perfect situation where you might want to use the telephoto lens on the iPhone 7 Plus. This is going to allow you to optically zoom in closer to your subject without having to move anywhere. And if we were comparing like for like, so going all the way in, the optical zoom is going to give you a lot more detail compared to the digital zoom on the S8 Plus. You also have a portrait mode on the iPhone 7 Plus, which blurs out the background. This actually does a really good job and I do enjoy using it. The S8 Plus does have a selective focus mode, which I have played around with a little bit, but it doesn't work as well as the portrait mode on the iPhone 7 Plus, which is a dedicated feature. Now let's move on to some low light shots so we can really test these cameras out. Indoors in low light, you can see that the S8 Plus is performing better here. You've got a brighter image with less noise. And taking the cameras outside, both of these seem to be doing pretty decent at first glance. But if we go in 100%, you can see that there's much less noise on the S8 Plus image, and it's also sharper. Another test in low light, so we can see this street sign once again much brighter and sharper on the S8 Plus, and this is noticeable in particular when we go in 100%. Finally, moving on to an image using the flash, I think both are doing pretty good here. I'd say slightly washed out on the 7 Plus, so I do like the S8 Plus here slightly better. So there we have it guys, the SuperSaf style camera comparison between the iPhone 7 Plus and the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. To summarize, for the front-facing camera, I would have to give the win overall to the S8 Plus. It had better dynamic range, sharper images with a wider angle of view. And for the video from the front-facing camera, you've got Quad HD, so high resolution. And it was also a lot more stable when we were doing videos walking around. So if you're somebody who vlogs, that might be something that you want to consider. The iPhone 7 Plus did take better selfies, I think, with the front-facing flash. And for the rear-facing camera, I think for video both did really good. The S8 Plus definitely had faster focus with that dual pixel autofocus. And outdoor images, overall I think both performed very, very well. The advantage you're going to have with the 7 Plus is the optical zoom. So if you want to punch into your subjects, then this is going to be a great feature for you. But when it came to low light, then the S8 Plus is king with much brighter and sharper images and much less noise. Now for the audio, I'll let you go back and have a listen. But for me, the stereo audio on the S8 Plus was definitely better compared to the mono audio on the iPhone 7 Plus. Now I know a few of you guys are going to be saying that obviously the S8 Plus is going to be better because it's a new device, but this is what's currently available and we'll redo this test when we have the iPhone 8 out. That's what I think anyway. What do you guys think? Drop me a comment below, let me know your thoughts. If you want to see images from lots of different devices, then be sure to give me a follow on Instagram. I'm at SuperSaf TV. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then please do hit that thumbs up button for me. It really does help me out. And if you haven't already, then be sure to subscribe and switch on notifications. There's lots more tech content coming up on here. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf TV, and I'll see you next time.